There's a certain stillness that settles over abandoned places, especially ones as old and forgotten as the asylum I'm about to tell you about. It's a silence that isn't quite silent, a quiet that feels heavy and thick, as if the very walls are holding their breath, waiting. Today, I want to take you to a remote hospital, an abandoned psychiatric hospital nestled deep within a forgotten valley, miles away from the nearest town, cloaked in shadows and whispers of the past. It's a place that has become the subject of countless hospital creepypasta stories, whispered about in online forums, shared in hushed tones around campfires, and feared by those who believe in the supernatural, or at least in the power of old, haunted hospitals to stir the imagination. But this isn't just fiction. This is a story rooted in reality, in the hints and echoes of what once happened within those crumbling walls. Imagine, for a moment, a place where the corridors stretch endlessly, dark and silent, lined with peeling paint and broken windows. You can almost hear the faint hum of the wind outside, brushing gently against the cracked glass, whispering secrets only the walls seem to remember. The air inside is cold and stale, carrying the weight of years of silence, dust motes floating lazily in the weak shafts of light that slip through fractured windows. Somewhere in the shadows, the faint smell of decay lingers, a mixture of mold, rust, and something else, something less definable, but undeniably unsettling. This is the abandoned asylum, a place that once housed the mentally ill, the desperate, and the forgotten. It's a place that held both hope and despair, where lives were changed forever, often in ways no one could understand. Now it stands silent, its story buried beneath layers of dust and darkness, a monument to what was and what might still be lurking in its shadows. As you approach the entrance, you can't help but notice the heavy metal doors, slightly ajar, inviting yet forbidding. They seem to groan softly in the breeze, as if protesting your intrusion. The sound of your footsteps echoes softly, a dull thud against the concrete floors, a lonely sound. The air is cold and thick with the scent of neglect. The flickering remnants of old fluorescent lights cast long, distorted shadows that dance on the peeling walls, as if mocking your presence in their silent, ghostly way. Take a deep breath. Pause. Feel the weight of the silence. It's not just quiet, but a stillness that presses against you, heavy and unyielding. Every step you take feels weighted, as if the very building is resisting your presence, eager to keep its secrets hidden beneath layers of decay. The corridors branch out in every direction, some leading to rooms filled with rusted beds, tattered curtains, and broken furniture, phantoms of a past life. Others lead into dark, unexplored wings, where the darkness is so thick it seems to swallow the faint light that filters in through fractured windows. The silence here is almost deafening, punctuated only by the distant drip of water echoing through the halls, or the faint scuff of your own footsteps. And then the stories begin. Stories whispered in the mind, stories of patients who once wandered these halls, misunderstood and mistreated, their cries echoing in the minds of those who dare listen. Some say the spirits of the disturbed still linger here, trapped in the limbo of their suffering, their restless souls haunting the empty rooms and shadowed corridors. Their stories are etched into the very fabric of this place, woven into the peeling wallpaper and rusted metal. Let's pause here for a moment. Imagine these stories. Imagine the voices that once filled these halls, now only whispers in the wind. Imagine the pain, the fear, the madness that once thrived in this place. Think about the silence that now reigns, and how, in that silence, the echoes of suffering seem to linger, refusing to fade away. As you walk further, you come upon a room, perhaps once used for treatment or confinement. Its door hangs slightly off its hinges, creaking softly with each passing breeze. Inside, the room is cold, the air thick with the scent of mold and old blood. There's a faint outline of a bed in the corner, rusted and torn, sheets long gone. On the walls, faded stains suggest stories of pain and despair. You might notice faint scribbles on the wall, some names, some numbers, some symbols, scratched in desperation or madness. If you listen closely, you might hear something, a faint whisper, perhaps, a breeze that seems to carry voices from the past. Or maybe it's just your own mind playing tricks, filling the silence with sounds from memories long gone. But some say, if you stay long enough, you can hear the faint sobs of those who once suffered here, their whispers carried on the wind, echoing through the empty halls. In the deeper wings of the asylum, stories tell of rooms sealed off for reasons no one truly understood. Doors that are locked and padlocked, with warnings scrawled in fading paint. Do not enter. But curiosity is a powerful force. Once, a group of explorers, adventurers, thrill seekers, or perhaps investigators, ventured into these forbidden spaces. And what they found, well, it's enough to make your hair stand on end. They reported feeling icy hands brush past their shoulders, even when no one was there. They saw fleeting shadows darting just beyond their line of sight. They heard muffled screams or faint crying that seemed to come from the very walls themselves. And then there were the more inexplicable phenomena, objects moving on their own, strange symbols appearing and disappearing, and a sense of being watched that grew heavier with each passing minute. Let's pause again. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the weight of the silence, the stories, the shadows that dance just out of reach. This place, this abandoned hospital, has become a nexus of the unseen and the unknown. Its walls are thick with memories of suffering, of madness, of darkness. And yet, despite all this, there's a strange allure. Something about its decay, its silence, its shadows draws people in. Perhaps it's curiosity, or a desire to understand what lies beneath the surface of the forgotten. Or maybe, deep down, it's a longing to connect with something beyond our understanding, something that whispers from the shadows, waiting patiently in the quiet. As you continue to imagine this place, think of the countless stories it holds, stories of those who once lived here, their pain, their fears, their moments of madness. Think of how the building itself seems to breathe with those stories, as if it's alive in some strange, ghostly way. Now, I want you to imagine the night falling over this abandoned asylum, darkness deepening, shadows stretching longer, colder. The wind outside picks up, rattling the broken windows. Inside, the silence becomes almost deafening. And in that silence, perhaps, you can hear the faintest echo of a voice, calling, crying, whispering, just beyond the edge of your perception. Remember, this place is more than just a building. It's a vessel of memories and mysteries, holding on to its secrets in the quiet darkness. It's a monument to what was, and perhaps what still lingers in the unseen corners of the world. As you drift into sleep tonight, keep this story in your mind. Think of the shadows that dance in the silence, the whispers that are never quite silenced, the secrets that refuse to be forgotten. And know that, somewhere in the darkness, shadows still linger, watching, waiting, whispering. Good night.